Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of what? Not another reselling podcast. Today, I'm Brian, by the way. This is my wife, Tracy. And today we have a super special guest on with us. We have Ken, SSK Promo. The stage is yours, my friend.
What is up? Brian and Tracy, thank you for having me on this podcast. We've been talking about this for a little while
Mhm.
before you started it, and I thought, man, what a great concept to really focus on the live selling aspect. But hey, I'm Ken. I'm Ken. SSK promo, Mr. Bill, the DOG, El Luchador, WR Hart, Poop Shoe Ken, Forsythia Smith. I have all kinds of
That's a
names
to me.
that
That was a new one to
I've
me
been known
too.
by. And but I'm happy to be on the show. I'm excited about it. And so that's me in a nutshell. Full-time reseller. That's
Mhm.
how I make my living. And also getting into the live reselling platform as well as the static platforms. And that's what I do. So fire away.
I know many of the people that are out there. They know Ken. They know Ken, and I'm pretty sure Chris might question the full time reselling part.
Okay. Well,
he might say
the,
he's a full time part time reseller.
well, it would seem that way. It would seem that way. A lot of times on some of my shows and where I'm talking about, it doesn't seem like I do as much as I probably do. I could do a lot better, a lot more focused
We
on
all
listing
could.
on static
Yeah,
platforms, doing a lot more live shows on say whatnot. Um, but I'm not as organized, not as motivated, not as whatever as I could, but I do make my living from it. I will
yes.
say I exist off of my reselling. We're not putting a lot of extra money in the bank, but you can see the lights are on. If
Yes.
I were standing up, you'd see my belly is full, and I
One might
all of my bills are
say
paid.
that you are unemployed for a living. I don't know.
One might
That's what
say
one
One
that.
might say.
One might say that.
one might, curiously enough, I do
Mhm.
a podcast
Yes, he
called
does.
Really?
Unemployed for a Living. And the focus of that was a quote right back here that said, I just want to make enough to stay unemployed, not to have to go get a regular, and I do the air quotes, the regular
Yes.
full-time job, in the workforce, the 9 to 5. And and that's about what I'm doing, is making enough to stay unemployed.
Cool. That is awesome right there. And by the way, guys, I do want to mention Ken is very responsible for this podcast even launching. Ken and Cory both. They started a 30-day challenge on their podcast that Ken mentioned, the um,
Unemployed
Unemployed
for
for a
a
Living.
living.
And sometimes words escape me. Obviously, I'm much older than Ken, even though he claims to be old.
I might.
No, I'm much older than Ken. But they started a 30-day challenge, and for us, the 30-day challenge was to make $100 in 30 days on a side
Fail.
hustle. On a side hustle. Well, for
Yes.
us, we didn't want to do a side hustle. So for
Yeah.
us, it was we're going to do a new venture, and that new venture that we decided to do
Yes.
was to do a podcast. And I talked a lot with Ken, and when I mean a lot, our conversations generally last anywhere between 1 to 5 hours, not one to
Yes.
five minutes.
That one was
So
terrible.
when he says we talked a lot, he meant it was one phone call and it just went on and on and on. We never got done. No.
It did. But him and Cory are responsible for us launching this, because we decided that we were going to take the challenge, but because we did not want to do a side hustle, because well, one, I'm retired. I'm a
And
retired
I don't
teacher.
like cleaning up dog poop.
Yeah, we don't
There,
like
yeah.
cleaning up dog poop. So we decided that we were going to do this challenge right here. So Ken came up with a lot. We talked a lot. We bounced ideas back and forth off of each other.
Yeah.
So Ken is as much responsible for the failure or success of this podcast, hopefully the success of the podcast, as just about anybody.
I'm going with complete success. So
I
far, a couple
appreciate that.
episodes under your belt, and
Yeah.
it's going well. Things will only improve as you get more comfortable in this format, and you get some great guests, on. I mean, I'm an excellent guest, but we get some really great
I
guests on here.
agree. I agree.
It,
Just for the record, too, Ken invited me on his show, which is Ken versus 10, which we will talk about later. But he invited me, and that was the first time I had ever appeared on Whatnot on somebody else's
YouTube.
platform. I'm sorry, YouTube, on somebody else's platform. And not only was it somebody else's platform, but it was also live. And I have a lot of anxieties. Tracy knows this. It doesn't seem like it, because if you watch our Whatnot shows, it seems like I have an unfiltered mouth and just about anything would come out. But I do have a lot of anxieties. But I wanted to thank Ken for that also. It seems like I'm really like blowing smoke completely up Ken's ass right now.
You are.
No, hey,
Well,
I
it
love
does
it.
say DOG over there. It does say DOG over there.
I have delusions of grandeur, which is what the DOG stands for. And yeah, so blow away. Blow as much smoke as you'd like.
Yeah, that would
I
probably
appreciate it.
going to get us kicked off. Well, let's go ahead and get started with our show.
Sure.
We're going to ask some questions of Ken.
Okay.
We're going to let him respond. Of course, the focus of our show is, as Ken mentioned earlier, it is live reselling versus static reselling. We talk a lot about the pros and the cons of live reselling. We're definitely not one of in the camp that's saying, hey, you better be doing live reselling, otherwise you're going to miss the boat and your business is going to fail model. Ours is one that we want to focus on. Hey, what are some of the great aspects of live reselling? And yes, are there cons of live reselling, just like any other reselling that there are? So the first question that I want to ask Ken is, this is one of the questions that I like to ask. I like to ask all of our guests.
They're tethered together.
We are tethered together. Is how did you become a reseller in general? In
general. Well, my back history, I had worked for a company in the printing industry for. I went to school for printing or graphic arts, and had a position out of school at an engineering firm where they ran an implant print shop. And then I went to a commercial print shop, and I worked there for 32 years.
Wow.
And I had, worked my way up from pressman to then, I was the overall general manager of 4 locations, and pretty much had planned on, I liked my job. I liked the work. I liked the advancement and the challenges of it, and what would have retired from there. But I
imagine you made some decent money. I mean, you don't have to throw figures out, obviously.
Yeah. I was doing well. I had more money than I needed. I'm very frugal. I'm very stingy, miserly, you might say. I'm like the Scrooge McDuck, I'm counting every pennies in my counting house. So, and yeah, I did well. I did well for myself there. And due to a change in ownership, I wasn't forced to leave. I could have stayed, but basically, a gal that worked at the place that I was employed, her parents bought the business. Basically, they bought their little princess a print shop so she could play grown up. And day one, they came in, introduced themselves. They were excited that they were going to work with me. They had heard a lot about me. And then they proceeded to tell me, we're going to change our daughter's, job title. And the whole description that they gave was like, that's what I do. That's my job. And so maybe a little bit of pride along with it. It's like, I'm not going to work under that condition after basically taking a business that started with one location and through my sweat and the, the strength of my back, built it into a business that had 4 locations in 3 different counties.
Was the business
And
family owned before,
yeah,
or was it a corporation?
no, it was not a corporation. It
Okay.
was family owned, and it had went through an ownership change earlier on, say 10, 12 years previous. Well, maybe even close to 20 years previous.
Okay.
And I went through that, but I didn't have the position and the status that I did at this point. So I looked at so I'll forward this story on. I looked at my finances and my situation and decided that this job wasn't going to work for me. So I left, and I put in my notice. I talked to the new owners and just explained that the situation wasn't going to work for me and I was going to move along. And I did that in August of 2019, and
Okay.
without a plan to do anything. It's like, but I also decided I had worked for 30, almost, 40 years at that point, and I was just going to take a break, and I wasn't going to do anything until the 1st of January in 2020.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah.
so and it's like, oh, that's great. It's August. I'm going to take a break for a few months. And then all of a sudden I woke up and it's like, oh no, it's January. I have no plan for my life of what I'm going to do. And having a couple of real good friends that were resellers, and we had, talked over the years. I thought that's interesting. So I thought I'm going to look into that. I'm going to see if that's something that I can do. I went and I started to watch all the videos on YouTube and found the reselling community and learned a lot and started posting stuff on eBay for sale. And you get that first cha-ching on that, over on eBay, and you're just hooked. It's like you're excited. And since then, well, of course, then it ended up 2020. We all know the pandemic happened in 2020. So I'm only like 2 months into it, and the whole entire country shuts down.
Right.
The sourcing opportunities, everything shuts down. But it also made it very easy to sell stuff. So you kind of got a
great time to
jaded
be a reseller.
Yes.
yeah, a very jaded viewpoint of how, oh, it's like, hey, this job's easy. I can post just about anything and somebody's going to buy it, because nobody was leaving home. You couldn't go to the store. They bought it online.
Yeah.
So it was a very good time to build the business early on and get established, learn all the ropes. And then, I've just progressed from there. And so, the majority of my stuff is done on, the static listing platforms. And then Whatnot came around, and I was one of the people that was very opposed to Whatnot when it first came out.
Very common.
Really?
Yeah, it's a very, very common sentiment too.
I was in that camp of, why would I sell something for so much less than what I could get for it on, say, like eBay? And I was I was also a little bit, I had applied for Whatnot when they first came out, but they were really only taking the big names, the people that had established social media platforms, and those are the people that they wanted. Well, Whatnot's a business too. They're trying to make a living just the same as we all are.
Correct.
And so I can understand that. But I was a little bit miffed by not being accepted when I had put on. And then it's like, you see all these people, and in the first days of Whatnot, everything was selling for $1 or $2. And that was it. And it had that sentiment of, this is where all the eBay people are unloading their junk that they can't sell. And I was opposed to Whatnot, but over time and talking with friends and watching people on the platform, I came around to really seeing the value of it, and not just trying as a dumping ground for your junk, as a place that you could sell. If you sell good stuff, you'll get decent money.
Yeah.
Is it still a fraction of the cost, or a lower percentage? I shouldn't say a fraction, a lower percentage,
Mhm.
of what you could get on a static listing platform. Yes, it is most all the time.
Right, right,
But
correct.
I have a saying, and something that I've said many times is I think there's a real big difference between leaving money on the table
Right.
and putting food on the table. And because
Yes.
I do this as a full-time job, how I make my living,
Mhm.
putting food on the table is more important to me than leaving some money on the table. If you are not making a profit, then you're doing something wrong. But if I can
Yeah.
buy low, it's all in the buy. If I can buy low and I can sell at a profit, I'm still ahead of the game.
You
So
know,
go
the
ahead.
amazing thing is what you just said about people using Whatnot as a dumping ground for their items that they're either not going to put up on eBay or items that they've had on eBay and they haven't sold in such a long time is still something that does happen a lot
Sure.
on Whatnot. It
Mhm.
is one of our biggest uh, uh, cons of selling on Whatnot. As a Whatnot seller, and Ken is a Whatnot seller on there, is that we're trying to build this platform to whereas items are going to be bid at
Yeah.
prices that are comparable or closer to the eBay static listings.
Yeah.
And there's too many other sellers out there that are still doing those. Well, we're just going to bring junk. And when they just
Yeah.
do bring junk and rejects to these the sites, it hurts other sellers because then people are looking at it and they're going, well, why would I go on to Whatnot when I know that the one time that I went on Whatnot, this guy was selling
Yeah.
something and it was a broken GI Joe, whatever
Yeah.
it may have possibly have been. And so there is a negative aura, I guess you would say, surrounding
Yeah.
Whatnot, especially amongst static listers on eBay, and especially the ones that are very, very established.
Yes.
There is a change happening. I will say that, but it's something that me and Tracy, are trying to change, and
Yeah.
along with Ken's help, because like I said, Ken helped us to develop the whole concept of the podcast. So yes, definitely trying to get the pricing up on Whatnot is a challenge, but if you
Mhm.
you can do it. There's obviously
Well,
sellers out there that are doing it. We're going to talk about one of them today, and we talked about two of them in our prior episodes with Paul the Philly Flipper and Jen's
Yeah.
Multiverse, who neither one of them have a presence on eBay at all anymore and are
Yes.
making that
And they were
living.
well, the one thing that I will say that goes along with that is Whatnot's and they are doing this. They need to build a platform of buyers
Hmm.
more so than the sellers. When they started out wanting these high profile social media sellers, their channels and the people that they spoke to mostly were other resellers. And
Hmm.
so everybody's on there trying to just get the deal. Everybody's on there. They were dumping junk. They were at these low prices, and their audience were other resellers,
Hmm.
which you're not going to build a good, strong platform with resellers selling to resellers.
Correct.
You can. It depends on what you're selling and the profit margins and how you buy. There's some things that I have pulled from my eBay store that I've sold on Whatnot, not because they weren't good items, they just weren't moving, and I
Hmm.
can get that inventory off the shelf. I can sell it at a decent price that's still a profit to me
Hmm.
to another reseller. And I get folks all the time that I know that you'll sell them an item at a really low, or what seems to be a low cost, and then a week later they send you an Instagram, post, hey, look, I bought this from you for $4 and I sold it for $34.
So I see
And
Shout out Jeff.
I see you get Jeff's Instagram post also.
shout out to Apex Jeff,
Yes.
a good friend, a good guy, a great reseller, knows
yes.
a good deal. When he sees one, will buy that and relist it. And it's also an opportunity. I made a good buy.
Mhm.
I made a sale at a profit. In turn, somebody else was able to take that and also make some money.
Mhm.
And it's an item that maybe a good collectible item, but it also might be something that then just didn't end up in a landfill or at another thrift
Yep.
store or
Right.
something that just got junked. But if the live platform selling platforms can get more buyers,
Mhm.
people that are there, your item will sell higher to a person that is wanting the item. I like that. I want it for my collection. I want to use that in my kitchen. I'm going to wear that article of clothing this summer. It's a great summer dress or something like that.
Yes.
Those are the people that are going to pay a little bit more because their prices are going to be less than if they go out to a retail store or if they order it, online, or if they buy it from an eBay site or something.
Right.
They're going to get a good deal and they're going to use it. The people that are going to use it will pay a little more than the people that are trying to get a profit margin from it.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that's where that base needs to be for live selling. And Whatnot is working hard at that. And the sellers, the good sellers out
Mhm.
there are working hard to get a good buyer base. And
Yes,
I think that's
and
a key.
yeah, and it'll bring them back. That's one of the biggest things is
Yes.
your first experience with Whatnot um, will definitely dictate whether or not that buyer comes back into your room. We were talking last week with
Yes.
Cory, and we mentioned that we had met one of our OG buyers at the Peaches to Beaches highway sale, and
Yes.
he was very excited to meet us. And when we were talking to him, do you remember that he was saying that he still comes into our shows and supports our shows, and he'll buy an item here or there, but he remembers when he could get really, really good deals. So literally, he
Yes.
comes in to support us. But when we've been selling on there for about
Almost right at 3 years.
right
at
at
this
about
point.
3 year mark, and
Uh-huh.
it's only been 1 year since we really have started to take off.
Yeah.
And he's been with us from the very, very beginning. And now he told us, he says, "Yeah, I just can't get into your shows because I can't get those really, really good deals anymore." And I said,
Yes.
"Excellent, I like that."
Well, that's a testament to you and Tracy for what you have built in your store. You've built a good customer base of customers. You have
Mhm.
some resellers. You know the folks that are going to come in there and they're looking for that good deal. But
Mhm.
your cost of goods sold is rising because you're doing it right. You're bringing good items. You're starting them at fair prices. People
Mhm.
can't afford them. They can still get it. If somebody's excited about the deal that they bought, they're going to come back.
Yes,
Right.
And
definitely.
we've all bid on stuff where at the end you get caught up in that moment. That's the great thing about the live selling is that, oh, I'm going to bid. I'm not letting that person beat me. Boom, boom, boom. I'm going to swipe, swipe, swipe.
Yes.
I want to win this item. And if you can get those people in your show, and then you guys also present a fun show.
Thank
Try.
you. Yeah.
The back and forth between you and Tracy, the way that you
Us back and forth.
and that's a big part of the live platform too and whatnot is the social aspect of it. You can have the greatest deals ever, but if your show is boring and disorganized and you don't have a good presence, people are not going to stick around to see what that next item is.
Correct.
Or they're going to come in, they're going to look through what's on your auction tab and they'll say, "Oh, will you run this? Will you run this?" They want to cherry pick the items they want for you to run right away.
Right.
And then boom, they're gone. Um, but everybody buys different. Everybody watches shows. I watch shows that I have no intent of buying anything because they're
Ours.
entertaining. Yes. Hey, I've actually had a pretty good flow of packages come from Jack's Treasures here over the last week. I even got gifted. Something came yesterday that somebody gifted to me in one of your shows,
Yeah, I remember
which is
that.
I kinda remember that.
Yeah.
a fun
The girly cards. That's what
thanks
it
for
was.
the
That's
girly
right.
stickers.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
it was a choice of girly stickers or whatever, really cool stickers, and somehow they chose to send the girly ones to me. I don't know what to think about that, if that's, a reflection. But yeah, so I don't know what the question was, but
That is definitely what Tracy and we do the pros and cons. And in our first episode, we did talk about the fact that whatnot and live selling in general. This is also in any of the live selling platforms. It could be the District, it could be Jamble, it could be Poshmark, it could be, Instagram, TikTok, no matter what the live selling platform is. One of the biggest pros of that is it is a social network. It is,
yes,
you are out there, you're putting yourself out there, you're in front of the screen, or even if you're behind the screen, you're live. It is not for everybody. It is not for everybody, but everybody or anybody can do it. It's, is it good for your particular business model?
If I was by myself, I would not do live selling.
Yes.
It would not be for me.
And
Right.
if I am correct, if I can bring something up, I'm sure you've talked about this before. So
Mhm.
you can do a whatnot show and never show your face, never be on camera. You can do a back facing or whatever they call it,
We
where you're
did.
just showing your eyes.
We did.
And I think that's one of the things that I've heard you say has turned your business around. Some advice
It
that
did.
you got from Paul that said, show yourself. Show
That's
yourself
exactly
on the
what he
camera.
said.
Show them your personality. Show them the person that they're buying from,
Mhm.
and just be yourself. You're a naturally entertaining person, Brian, and Tracy. You're just as well. You have a very good on-screen presence, and you are you. If you meet Brian and Tracy,
Yeah.
off camera, they are the Brian and Tracy that are on camera. Because if you go social media or any social media platform, or especially the social selling, people will see right through you right away.
Oh,
if
yeah,
you are
yeah.
not the same person, if you're trying to be something or put on an act. Of course, we all do silly stuff in the shows. You wear silly hats and wigs, and you might
Dresses.
throw on you might wear a dress every now and then.
Tracy, Tracy does. She dresses up occasionally.
She cleans up nice.
She does.
And it's but yeah, one of the pros is that the social aspect that makes it fun to sell your stuff. And I'm sure you've addressed this. And the pros and cons, the static listing is a boring existence. Snap
It
some
definitely
photos, comp
is.
some stuff, post it. You're just there by yourself. You're working all day. You don't have any interaction. And although a whatnot show, if you're doing it by yourself, is just, you're basically talking to yourself the whole time.
Yes.
In the room, here's all the items, but you do have that chat and that crowd that that is out there watching. And it is very fun. And if you have that that type of a personality, it can be very fun, and it can help your shows as well.
Yes, and just to let everybody know, if you have never seen an SSK promo show on Whatnot, you are missing out, because he's complimented Tracy and I on ours. He has much funner, in my opinion, shows. Him and his better half, Jill Kacherka, they put on some. I've never seen anyone go all out as much as Ken and Jill have.
Every
for some of
show
those
has
shows.
high production values, like you're at a play.
Yes,
I appreciate that.
They go all out, which is, again, one of the pros. One of the cons of that, it being a social thing, is it allows for drama to come into and seep into the platform itself. And we all know of the drama that's going on, especially right now. We all know the drama that's happening right now on Whatnot. I mean, if if you're a reseller or you're a YouTuber, you've seen videos of that. So that is definitely a con that hurts the entire platform.
It hurts the entire platform. I will say that for sure.
Yeah.
But here's all that I will say about this is the drama for me is way over there.
Yes.
I don't pay attention to it. I don't get in the middle of it. I don't watch all of the other shows that come out where people want to talk about this and that and the other thing. It's just like, it's unimportant. Does it affect the platform? It can. It does. It affects every platform that everybody sells on when there's different types of drama. But I don't get into it. I don't care. It doesn't affect me. And so
that's a great way to look at it. So everybody should be able to look at that and say, they're just to let everybody know. Obviously, when Ken was telling his story of how he got started in that, there was drama involved in that. The parents brought their little daughter, or princess, if you will,
their princess,
a little. Let's play grown up now, and that caused. I mean, I'm not trying to say that Ken made it a drama thing, but it was something that was there, and it affected that. So almost every type of platform, even static selling, has drama located in it. It's just not in your face. It's not out there for the world to see because it's not a social live selling platform. And I'm not just talking about Whatnot. There's drama on The District. There's drama on Jamble. There's drama on Poshmark. There's drama on all of them. We only focus mostly on the Whatnot one because that's where we do primarily most of ours.
But how does it affect you? How does it affect you if you bring that up as a drama thing?
The only reason why drama would affect us is that because people they go to those videos, they watch some of and they're huge YouTubers, and they see that, and their inclination of Whatnot goes down. And so I lose a potential buyer. I lose somebody that could come into that show, into my show, and say, oh, Jack's Treasure's got some really, really good stuff. But I don't know if I trust Whatnot because of the stuff that's happening on that thing. So that's why it is a bad thing or a con for the whole community, not just the sellers, but for buyers, because buyers are going to shy away when they see that, and it's a turnoff. Like you said, that drama's way over there, but it seeps into everything.
The only thing that you can do is be better. And when you do get that one buyer that may be on that fence of, is this the whole platform or is this seller, is treat each seller, whether they bought one thing and they got it for asking price of $1 start, or somebody that bid something up, you treat all of them the same. You package it the same. You give them great customer service. You give them a fun show and you thank them, and when you do shows like your podcast, or when you do your all your Instagram and all your other YouTube content, and you be the positive light for the platform, people are going to see that. And because when you are looking at that, drama comes between mostly the other resellers that are the sellers that are on the platform. The drama is not so much in the buyers, which is the buyers are the strength, or should be the strength, and should be the main focus.
The focus is
to get strong buyers that don't know from nothing. We all know one another as sellers and resellers, and we talk behind the scenes. We don't just have that on-screen relationship. We talk behind the scenes. We're in raid trains together, where now you're in a whole group of people that might be, it's like, well, I'm not going to watch that raid train because this person's in it. That part would affect everybody. But if you as a seller can focus, I focus on me. I focus on me and my shows and doing the best that I can do to represent myself and the platform. You see, I knew we were talking about Whatnot today. I wore my Whatnot yellows. I like to represent my, with my yellow and black when I do a lot of the shows, if I'm not wearing something silly. but focusing on the buyers, the customer service,
silly,
and the things that you can control.
right?
You cannot control drama. You will never, ever, anywhere, anybody will control drama. But I can control SSK promo. I can't control Ken. I can't control what I do, how I'm portrayed, and the type of service that I give a customer. I would hope just on my packaging and my shipping time and that I was honest up front about my description of my item when I tried to sell it. That person is going to return not only to my show, but to the platform because I did that. I did my part. And my part was not, oh, did you hear what happened to this person?
Yes.
You're not going to hear that. And so, the whole you do you thing, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing my thing.
Talking about the you do you thing.
Yes.
How did you come up with SSK promo?
SSK promo. The SSK stands for Sideshow Ken. Is part of it was a play on from The Simpsons, Sideshow Bob, that was like the clown and the one circus or whatever, and the Sideshow Ken. I've been told that I'm a carnival waiting to happen. So that worked out. I try to be a fun, positive person the whole time. And then way back in the day when you'd play the video games in the arcade, and like if you got a high score, you could put your name in. And so rather than just Ken, my initials were SSK, and that's that's the SSK part. Some have even said it also stands for Seasonal Santa Ken. But
yes.
But Sideshow Ken is where that's at. Then the promo part had to do with I used to play in a band. I used to play drums in like an 80s heavy metal band. When I left the band, I started doing DJ work because I had all of the equipment. And then when I kind of got out of the DJ work, I started doing promotional work for local bands that played, local bars and VFWs and Moose Halls and stuff like that. I would do marketing and doing gigs and promotion and stuff for the bands. And so I just added the promo to SSK promo for promotional or promotions. And that's where that came up. And I just kept that because when you sign up for stuff like YouTube and whatnot and all these things, you normally use your Gmail address, and it was sskpromo@gmail.com. And it that just stuck. And I didn't want to change all my accounts everywhere just to have a new nickname that was better. So
I don't know. I think SSK promo is absolutely perfect because what little that I've met of Ken, and Ken and I have met in person at a meetup, and he definitely is a carnival waiting to happen. We have talked on the phone about some of the things that he has and some of the things that he doesn't currently have but wants. And it really is. And that, I think, is probably one of the biggest inspirations for me to be able to say, be yourself. It's really kind of hard. It is very, very difficult to go on a live platform and be yourself, because you're opening yourself up to criticism. You're opening up yourself to people not particularly liking what you're saying or doing what you're saying. And that's just part of it. But when I met Ken, and I will say that when I met Ken was on a podcast called Clickbait. Reseller Clickbait podcast.
Yes.
That is the podcast that I started to watch. That's what I started to do.
Yeah.
This is kind of funny because Ken is the second guest that we've had that literally said, I went onto YouTube and I started to look up resellers.
Yes.
I did the exact opposite. I never looked up any YouTubers at all. So when Tracy and I went to this meetup, I knew no one. And when I mean no one, I mean no one at all. So it was a completely different thing that just opened up my world to the reselling community. And I thank God every day that I was walking down a hallway and two people walked out of their hotel room, and it was Ken and Jill. And like literally, we were standing right there. There could not have been a better fate.
Some people may say that we were hanging outside the door waiting for them to come out. I don't know.
Okay,
it was
literally. All right,
suspect.
I was laying on the ground, but I dropped a quarter. Okay, I dropped a quarter. All right.
Well, when I opened the door, Brian was trying to peek through that little hole in the door where you see who's out there. I don't know what that was about. Yeah, it was a happenstance. We just happened to be walking out to go down to the lobby to mill around with other resellers and kind of get going with the day. You know, Brian and Tracy were there. Brian, you can tell the story, but you didn't know any resellers because you hadn't watched. But
No,
Tracy was familiar. Tracy had been watching.
This makes the story even better, guys. Tracy did watch the podcast, and Ken's podcast before they went. And by the way, just so that everybody knows, we are talking about the Nashville meetup in 2024. Which I wear this every single one of my shows. It's like my good luck charm. And there's another one that's coming up in this month in April. This video will be released. Yep, there we go, right there. And that's what we were talking about. And by Tracy knew about the podcast, Ken released the podcast before he went, and Tracy commented on the podcast. Now, I did not, but Tracy did. And the podcast was, "We can't wait to meet you." Okay.
Yeah.
And then we ran into him in the thing. I tell you, if you knew nothing of nothing, you would have swore to God that we stalked the hell out of them. Okay. There is no way you could not have. And I was binge watching his podcast from the very, very beginning. Once I met Ken, I started binge watching his podcast. And so that's how our relationship, or I should say our friendship, developed. Because I said, I want to know everything that he's doing, and I want to be a part of that. And so that all happened. But if you were just Bob on the street and you saw that video, and then you were in that hallway and you saw them walk out of that doorway, you said, he stalked the hell out of them. So it is an amazing thing. What other live selling platforms, or what other platforms in general do you sell on?
Primarily my business is made up of eBay, and now Whatnot. I've been selling on Whatnot for actually right about 1 year. Might be a year and a week or so. I think I actually did our first show in March of 2024.
Okay.
And then I also do a lot of Facebook Marketplace. Like I do storage unit clean outs and such, and bigger items, things that you're not going to list. You're obviously not going to list great big furniture a lot on, say, eBay or sell it on Whatnot. So I will sell those things on Facebook Marketplace. And that pretty much comprises my reselling is eBay, Whatnot, and so previous to Whatnot, it was all eBay with some Facebook Marketplace sales.
I got you. And you did become a member of the dollar auction.
The dollar auction with that Cory is
our guest
running.
last week. Yeah.
Yes, that Cory is running. Yes, I am a member. I'm not signed up for selling on there yet, or haven't subscribed to that. But yes, I do. I am in the group, and definitely it is an exciting concept, an exciting thing that I am going to explore. As far as, some of those items, because we all get items, especially when you're doing storage unit cleanouts that are not, you're not going to put them on eBay. You're not going to put them on Whatnot. Not that they're not quality items. That's the thing that I want to stress, but they just don't have a place for the type of shows that I might do on Whatnot. But they're also something that I don't want to redonate or just go in a landfill, that I do have and again, I want to stress that it's not junk items.
Yes.
It's items that just don't have a place other than maybe you would sell them at a yard sale, something like that. It gives somebody an opportunity to buy something starting at $1. They could get a really decent item, an item that they want. Again, that's a platform that is being set up for buyers.
Mm-hmm.
You want to get buyers in there. Yes, other resellers are going to take advantage of it, but you want to get buyers, people that want something. And if it starts at $1 and then they can bid, $1, maybe 2, 3, 4, that's still going to be a great value for them for a decent item.
One thing I would like to mention, people who haven't been in your Whatnot shows yet may not realize you do very curated shows. I mean, you choose your items very specifically. They always have a theme.
Mm-hmm.
You're not really doing those like storage unit pull shows, garage sale shows, kind of like more like we do.
Yet.
Oh, I like it.
I love hearing that.
I do storage unit cleanouts. I have a massive amount of inventory.
Yes.
Most of the shows that we have done, yes, you are correct, Tracy, that they are specific shows with, they're an all blanket, an all purse. They're a mystery show that centers around, we do the raid trains that are focused on a particular concept or a particular theme. We feel that, a lot of times those theme shows go the best. They're the easiest to set up and work with because you're selling all the same types of items. We did a big, huge Disney show just 2 nights ago, all types of Disney items. But I am going to start doing basically the types of shows that you are doing. It's like, this was in the storage unit. What is it? Let's open this box. Let's see what it is. Okay, let's run it for this amount. I have tons and tons of good stuff. I still am one of the people that I think there are items that it's somewhat of a no-brainer that I'm going to put this on an eBay or a static
listing. Yeah. And we are too. We do too.
Yeah. I have not went all in. However, it has been proven to me, at least in my mind, proven that if you don't cherry pick and you just put the items on there, they're going to sell. And it has to be at a profit.
Right.
Might be
at the end of the day,
of a
for
profit
sure.
margin.
I feel like there's always going to be items that just aren't suited for live selling. Like right now, I'm filling my eBay with a bunch of genealogy books, which do great on eBay, but running a random genealogy show and hoping that someone from the Detroit Jones family shows up and wants to buy a book, that's going to be a hard sell.
Yeah, and we definitely do believe that, and we follow that mantra. I always follow the mantra of don't put your eggs all in one basket, because anything could happen. Right now, Tracy was doing a box for Amazon, and we realized that we were able to send in a lot of stuff to Amazon, but over the years, they're restricting more and more and more.
A lot of the brands that I was always able to sell before. I can't ship in Papermate. I can't ship in Post-its. I can't ship in Avery brand. And those were all like bread and butter sales for me on Amazon. I can't send them in anymore. So having to pivot with that.
Yeah, exactly. So again, we've covered basically all of the pros and the cons of live reselling, which is awesome, because that is one of our segments that we do on the podcast. You're very, very well known throughout the entire reselling community. I mean, I don't believe that there's a lot of people that do not know Ken SSKPROMO, Mr. Bill, the DOG. How did you become so well known in such a short period of time, and how did you become the DOG?
Well, it's one of the things that doing the podcast, we started I don't even know 3-4 years ago, the Reseller Clickbait podcast, and that was with myself and Jimmy Old School Flips. We started that podcast and just kind of grew and built in that. Then Cory came aboard. Cory from Grams and Pops. Yes, and we continued on the Reseller Clickbait podcast for a little over a year, and then we just kind of got that we needed to change direction. We needed to do something different. There's only so much you can say about reselling. Oh, post office raised the rates again. Oh, there's this, whatever. And so we were kind of deciding that we needed to make a change. And on the New Year's holiday live tour, we had a couple of guests. And what in our conversation, Cory had made that comment of make enough money to stay unemployed.
Yes, he did.
Brian and Tracy did end up being the last guests on the Reseller Clickbait podcast. They didn't necessarily kill it. We like to just joke with them that they killed it. But Cory and I were already on our way to thinking we either need to do something different or do nothing at all. And that kind of sparked, because there is a lot outside of being unemployed for a living or a full-time person than just the reselling there. And we're seeing so many things and we're trying. But the question was, how did I get to be known in the community? I think one of the things is the headshots. I think
yes.
We went to a meetup out in Vegas, and between that's where the whole delusions of grandeur started. That's where the whole it was a comment from Jimmy that he's like, because I was teasing that everybody was coming to this meetup to see me. That was just part of my shtick at that time. And Jimmy made the comment, oh, great. Next thing you know, he's going to be signing headshots, at whatever. And I thought, that's just a brilliant idea. I just happened to have so I actually made this headshot right here. Oh, I had the same hat on.
Yes.
Yeah. The OG right there, right?
And that is. And I went to that meetup out in Las Vegas. And
was that Boss?
No, it was not Boss.
Okay.
It was. So that now I'm sitting at a table and I got my notebook and I open it up and I sign one for a fella. Shout out to In a Box in the Garage, Bill, good friend Bill. He was the first one to receive a headshot and I sign it. The other people that were sitting around the table, I sign it. So now people are starting to carry these things around and everybody's like, where are you getting those? So next thing you know, I have a line of people at my table waiting for me to sign these headshots. And it just kind of got to be a thing. And so come to the Cincinnati meetup. We go with that's one.
Perfect. That is perfect.
The riverboat thing. So I signed them there, and then it started to get anticipated. Then you come to last year's Nashville meetup. And so that's one of the things. That's kind of like my thing. Oh, and then there is a special Nashville one. There's only a few people that have these. This wasn't general public one.
And we are not one of them. I will let you know that. I don't think we have any of those, except for the one that I bought.
Yes.
And the one that I bought.
And then it got to be that I would sign these headshots and then people were putting them up for sale on eBay. I think right now the first one, Cory and Teresa sold theirs for like $25, like within an hour or two after they put it up. Anyway, but I think it's just being out there. I have a motto that I like to live by. I have for years is never miss the opportunity to be the center of attention.
Mm-hmm.
Or the short version is, hey, look at me. If I am in a room with a group of people or at an event or whatever, you are probably going to know that I was there at the end. Not in an obnoxious, obtrusive way. I'm not going to be out. Yeah, I'm not like Brian.
Yes.
It's just I am very I'm a social person. Whatever event that I am at, I kind of unsolicited, I take on a role of ambassador. I want to make sure, because I know a lot of the resellers in the community.
Right. And
I don't need to meet and greet and get time and shake their hand and all of that stuff because I know them. But I look for the people that are on the fringes, the people that are on the outside that are staring and they're going, oh, man, is that Paul Philly Flipper over there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I want to know, oh, is that, a John Cincinnati Picker or something like that? And I'm going to go over and I'm going to talk to those people and I'm going to make them feel welcomed at that event. Cause some people,
Yes.
they're just not. And then I'm going to say, hey, did you meet Paul? Whatever. And I take them out. Hey, Paul, this is my new friends, such and such. And give them a chance, break the ice with them. And I think just being kind and considerate and noticing that everybody wants to feel included.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody
Mm-hmm.
wants to be a part of something, but some people don't have that. They just, whether it's anxiety, whether
Yeah,
it's
I have a lot of that.
shyness, whether it's embarrassment, something along those lines, they just don't want to get in. And I like to feel that I bring people in to that they get their at least their 5 minutes or their handshake with somebody. Um, and really for me too, what is the most humbling thing of all is when somebody comes up to me, somebody that, and I don't say this in any sort of arrogance or whatever, but I have had people that they wanted to meet me, whether through the podcast or whether they see me, and there's nothing uh more endearing to me, to my heart,
Mm-hmm.
and makes me feel good that somebody recognized me and wanted to shake my hand, and
Yes.
which is very, very cool, and it's very humbling and much appreciated, because I'm always the guy that wants to give that to somebody else. I want to give them that opportunity, and maybe that goes a long way. I like to feel that I'm a genuine person. I am what you see here today, and what I
Agreed.
am, off the screen is what I am. Now I'm not all sunshine and roses. All of us don't have a great day.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
and that's one of the things with the live selling too. You have shows scheduled and you're just not feeling it that day. You
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
just don't want to go on. Like, let's say perhaps you say thank you on a no thank you raid train, and then you've got another show scheduled right
Or,
after
or,
that.
or you
And you don't
blame
want
somebody for that too, who wasn't even didn't even say anything, wasn't even saying anything at the time.
but so, you said, how the question was, how do people um how did I get known in the community? And I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just from being me, just from being out there, just from trying to put myself into situations, guesting on great shows like this. When you're
Thank
asked
you.
and when you're given an opportunity, uh say yes. Go do it. Go, be on a raid train if you're live selling platform. Go be on somebody's show if they ask you to be on a podcast or on a or something like that,
Or
and
they
just
ask you
put
to be
yourself out
on
there.
one when you're live on Whatnot, and you have no clue what to say. Yes,
Yes.
I had no clue what to say when Ken asked me to be on his podcast, which I was live on
Yes.
Whatnot. And Tracy kicked me harder than I have ever been kicked before. And she said, just say yes. And I did.
Yeah.
And even after that, Ken said, I don't know if you wanted to be on it or not. I couldn't really tell. And I
Yeah.
said, that's because I wasn't speaking English. I think I was just the words and they weren't coming out.
Well, you mentioned the no thank you raid train just a minute ago. That kind
Mhm.
of
Yes.
brings me to our next topic, where we're going to
Great.
shine a spotlight on some sellers on Whatnot, one of
Yes.
who is the host of that
Yes.
infamous no thank you
Yes.
raid train.
And we will ask Ken if he knows any of these sellers too. The first one, we like to shout out 3 sellers at 3 different levels on Whatnot. Unfortunately, we cannot do, and we will incorporate the district, and we will incorporate Jamble and other live selling platforms
Sure.
when we start expanding a little bit more. But because we are Whatnot sellers, the first one that we're going to say, Ken, have you ever heard of Cozy Chaos Auctions? She is a new reseller.
I have heard the name.
Mm-hmm.
I have not seen a show. I think Cozy was featured, maybe had bought a like a seller shout out or one of
Mm-hmm.
the things on a show that I would have watched. So I've heard the name but not seen the shows.
We met her at Peaches to Beaches.
Yep.
We were
Very
were
cool.
at Peaches to Beaches, and we were talking because you know me, I'm going to talk, as all people can tell from this podcast.
Yes.
She sells on Mondays and Wednesdays. She's an everything seller. She's had, I think, about 4 or 5 shows. She's a super, super good, nice lady that we met. She came into our show
A couple
of times now. She's come into our show, and we've given her shout outs. So she is a new seller on Whatnot, a relatively new seller, I should say. So that is our first shout out.
And what's the name again? I want to write this down so that.
All one word, Cozy Chaos Auctions.
Yeah. And we will
Cozy.
post a link down in the description so that anybody else who wants to follow her can definitely go ahead and check her out.
Great.
And who would be second, Tracy?
Well, our second one is what we consider a growing seller. And this is someone I talk to every day of the world. I have an Instagram chat going with her, and we speak every day of the world. And that would be Coco Loves Life. And Coco is
I love Coco.
She has the biggest heart and one of the best personalities on Whatnot. Yeah. She mainly sells plush and toys. She does do some clothing sales and some everything sales as well. But if you've never been in one of her shows, you are missing out. She sings, she dances, she has a heart of gold.
One of the shows that whenever I'm in the show, I just start moving.
Yeah.
I don't know how, I don't know why.
And she comes to a lot of our shows, and she does moderating for us, and I'm so grateful. She's an amazing moderator, and she's just a really, really good friend. And I want to see her grow massive because she deserves it.
Mm-hmm. Coco is one of my longer term friends that I knew from what I want to call YouTube resellers.
Okay.
eBay reselling YouTubers. Been following Coco and friends with her for a long time, long before we all got into Whatnot.
Right.
And so, you know, I had always watched her videos on her YouTube channels, and then come to see her in that live aspect where she's just being herself, and she dances, she sings, she has we all face adversities and situations in life. And a person that just makes the best of every day and tries to 100%. Be positive through the negative. I don't want to say tries, is positive through the negative. Just a light in the community. And I love Coco.
Have you met Coco?
I have not met Coco in person.
You will.
Yay.
I think Coco will be going to Nashville. She's trying to go to Nashville.
I don't know that it's going to happen.
We're trying to help to encourage her to come on up, but obviously she just had a baby a few months ago. Yes. So it's a little bit tougher.
She's trying.
But she is definitely trying, and we're encouraging her to come up.
I have a hug in reserve for my friend Coco.
I love Coco. And our last one, this is our established larger seller. And we mentioned her earlier. Ken knows exactly who we're going to be going to. This is our friend, a dear friend, Diana Hanger 909.
Yes.
I think Diana Diana is one of the most amazing community supporters on Whatnot. She's coming up on 20,000 followers. But by the time this video comes out, I guarantee you she's over 20,000 because she was so close. She's at like 19.9, and I guarantee you she's going to be over because this one will be coming out in a week from us recording.
I haven't looked yet, but I guarantee one of the 20 times my phone's buzzed over there was her starting a love raid. Yes. I looked at my phone all the time. It's just her doing a love raid. That means she's going to raid into someone's show and just give them some support and love. And I think that's incredible.
She's probably the single most person who's, whenever we're asked to be on a raid train,
it will be yes.
The answer is yes. I don't care if I'm at a funeral. We're going to be on that raid train.
Yeah, I love. As long as
it's not mine.
You know, Diana Hanger has been very supportive of Jill and I on the platform. again, a true, genuine person. She can be raw at times, if that's
Yes.
fair, but that is her. That
Yep.
is the
Yes.
true her. And that is the person that you want to see, that you want to meet. You don't want somebody that's putting on a face or some sort of a different persona. And again, I can't say enough about the support and the help. And when we're having a show and she comes in or invites us, on the raid trains, always, when I come in a room or Jill comes in a room, you always feel that she's genuinely excited to
Yes.
see your name pop into a room. And that's not just me. That's everybody that's coming into the room. It's just she just has that welcoming spirit and wants to for everybody to do well.
She feels like she's everybody's whatnot mom. Even though her and I are about the same age, she just feels like a whatnot mom.
Yes.
That she is there to take care of you and support you, and she's incredible.
And help you along too, very much so. So our 3 shout outs for today's episode are going to be going to Cozy Chaos Auctions. There will be a link down there below. Coco Loves Life. We absolutely love Coco. And Hanger 909 Diana, who is phenomenal. Great. So if you've never seen any of those, check out the links that are down there below. Give them a click, give them a follow, a click. I'm sorry, not a clink. Click, give them a follow, and give them some love, because believe it or not, they are going to do that for you. I can promise you, all 3 of them.
Yes.
Now, we're going to do something called Have You Heard? Have You Heard is the title of our new little segment where we talk about something that's new that's happening on Whatnot.
First of all, we're going to mention that they're doing the Whatnot card show. We're not card sellers, so I don't know a ton of the details, but there is information out there on Instagram and Facebook. It's from April 3rd through 6th, and they're just doing a focus on card sales. There's going to be a lot of like Whatnot sponsored giveaways and a lot of stuff going on. If you're a card seller, I think you can host a show and have it tagged in their platform. So definitely check that out if you're into cards.
Yes, Dan in Demand. There you go. Yep. Okay, you got your platform right there. That'll definitely help grow with yours. Another thing that is new, and it's really not new, but it's making this huge comeback. I have seen it. We've actually participated in it. And that is battle platforms. Okay. There are sellers that
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
There are sellers that are battling other sellers to sell certain items. It is a wonderful idea. It really took off last year, and then it kind of like phased down a little bit, and we didn't see a lot of them. But we're seeing people that are doing graphic tee battles. We're seeing people that are doing plush battles. We're seeing bag battles. We're seeing all kinds of these different toy battles, card battles.
I don't know how much information I'm allowed to give right now, but we are in the early parts of another battle that we may be participating in.
Yep. And of course, we host our own graphic t-shirt battles, which I am undefeated for Sundays. I have not lost on a Sunday period, of my graphic tee battles. As a matter of fact, there's very few days that I have that.
Shout out to Michelle Collects LLC, who kicked our butt the other day.
She did. Yes. She did. Oh, and I got to do another shout out to someone. It was
the guy that cheated and beat you.
Yes. The one that it was totally rigged.
Yeah.
Stuff. He brought in his family. Can you believe that his family came into the chat and they like bought all of that shirts? You might have heard of. Have you heard of this gentleman, Ken?
No. He sounds like my type of fella, though. Somebody that I want to hang out with. I think I was in that show. I don't remember a family member buying anything, but
I'm pretty sure T. Kim's a relative somewhere.
No, is not.
Shout out to T. Kim. By the way,
her.
We love
and it was
T.
a great
Kim
battle.
to
very great lady.
And of course, we are playing fun. Ken did beat me in when was that?
That was
February.
in February.
February. Yes, in February. It's hard for me to remember that far back and stuff. Yeah, thank you, sweetheart. But yes, we did lose to Ken in the in the graphic tee battle. But it's so much fun. What was your experience for other than beating me? Which I mean, you don't have to mention that.
No, I should I mention the plush battle that I beat you in? Though?
I don't remember that.
Okay, that was a while ago. You know, I absolutely I love the battle format. Number one, I think it's a fun and entertaining show for people to watch. It helps build hype to buy the items and to get those bids up a little higher on an item that if you were just selling it on your own might not get as high a bid. The thing that I like about the battles is it's a collaboration between you and another seller. And so you have the opportunity to not only introduce your kind of core audience to a new seller, that other seller it hopefully brings their audience along with them.
Yes.
And so you're going to get those other followers, those other people get a chance to see your personality because it's such a specific show. It's all graphic tee. It's a bag battle. It's a plush battle. It's, you know, whatever. They're only going to get to see one sort of an item, but they're going to get to see you and your personality and what type of show that you run. And I like that kind of a community collaboration aspect of the battle, of introducing and getting introduced to some new audiences.
Yes.
You know, a lot of times we run in the same circles of people. And so your audience is going to be a lot similar to my audience.
Correct.
But you're going to have people that have never seen me. And I'm going to have people that have never seen you. And that's what I like about the battles. And if you're doing it with somebody like Brian that that you can jab at and you can have fun and you can talk smack and you can do and if you just have fun with it, the audience can see that and hopefully they're more likely. Number one, they went away with one of two things. They went away with a really good item at a good price, something that they wanted, or they went away feeling entertained for the evening. We all can use some good, fun, smile and laughs and entertainment. And if they didn't buy a thing, but they were entertained by that battle and the two participants, that right there is, it's a success. It's not money in your pocket, that show, but it's a potential money in your pocket in another show.
Correct.
If somebody new comes to see the battles and then they say, I'm going to follow this guy. Let's go watch their next show and see what they're doing.
Well, what's the future hold for SSK Promo, especially in the realm of live selling?
In live selling, I want to ramp up a little more. Right now, the thing that with Whatnot and where I'm at is I do the amount of shows that I can do with the rest of my schedule and what I'm doing.
Correct.
So we schedule one show a week. We try to do Friday evenings at 6. And then if we're on other raid trains or stuff, sometimes we're on 2, 3, maybe even 4 times a week, depending. But I want to ramp that up a little more. On my channel, on SSK Promo, Jill Kacherka she's going to start doing shows on my channel. It's called Just Jill. Okay. And she's going to be doing mostly clothing. Lots of new with tag clothing. She's going to have graphic tees. She's going to have a lot of lady sorts of clothing. So for my channel and live reselling, it is Jill in her Just Jill shows. Doing that clothing is an area where we're going to diversify the channel a little bit.
Okay.
And then on my end, most of the time, Jill and I do shows together. She's here when we're doing the show. But I'm going to start doing more shows on my own, which are these storage unit shows. the ones that are getting all of the random storage unit polls, and not do so much of the curated shows every time.
This
And
cat is
so
a ham. I'm sorry.
I can see that.
Yeah.
So this year we're trying to do some more shows, do some different shows, participate in a few more raid trains,
Mhm.
go over and check out the dollar auction
Yes. Yes.
site as a seller over there. And because I like the live selling format.
Mhm.
It's I said that earlier, it's fun. And if you're having fun at what you're doing in any job, if you enjoy your job,
Yes.
if you're an accountant and you say, I absolutely love crunching numbers all day long, you are going to be happy. I got burnt out static listing every day, every
Right.
day, every
Yeah.
day. It was boring to me. I still do it, but I want to get more into the live. So that's the direction of our channel. Just Jill shows
Okay.
and me with more of my storage unit stuff.
Oh, you were just like being a pest.
I think we've mentioned them all before, but make sure everybody checks out Ken on YouTube. Ken versus 10 every Wednesday at noon, I believe, noon
Yes.
Eastern
Yes.
time.
Noon
Which is
Eastern.
live too, by the way.
And then
Yes.
on its own channel, we have Unemployed for a Living podcast.
Which releases every Monday at 11 o'clock.
Yes.
And
Okay.
then check out
Yes.
his Whatnot channel, which is SSKPROMO on Whatnot.
Yep.
Yes.
And now we're going to do our turn the tables. We're going to allow our guests to go ahead and ask Tracy and I a question.
Man.
And we can edit this one or end it at any time. My finger
Is
is
that-
on the end record button.
Is that why Tracy went through all of my information right there so you could edit this out? Let me
If they
see
have a
for you.
question.
We're going to put the drama thing to the side.
Okay.
Okay. As I don't want that to be your answer.
All right.
Life selling and Whatnot in general, what is like one thing or a couple of things that you would change if you were running the Whatnot platform? If it was your business, what would you change about Whatnot that you think that would make it better for buyers and better for sellers?
Awesome.
I would make some changes to the way the shipping is done. What I've seen on the district, I definitely like their shipping where you can collect an amount, and if you go over, you pay it, and if you don't, you get to keep the difference.
Okay.
I think that can make for some more favorable shipping for the buyers. And it sucks when you know that someone overpaid for shipping and that money is just going to Whatnot. I don't love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of mine would probably be making it more user friendly for sellers that are doing this by themselves.
Yes.
It's for Tracy and I, it has been super easy because one of us will be in front of the camera and the other one will be basically running the show on a different platform, camera device.
Different device.
But
Yes.
for somebody who's running it by themselves, Ken SSK Promo mentioned that, but he does have Jill that helps him on his Friday shows. But thinking about Chris, that's one of the biggest ones who I always think about is Chris the Cajun reseller. He's running the show by himself, and it is a lot more difficult to run the show because Whatnot is the basic gist of Whatnot is it's an app as opposed to on the computer. You can do everything on the app, but the computer is a lot more limited to what you can do. And I would free that up a little bit and set that up to whereas you could make it a lot easier to run items, a lot easier to engage with the chat, see in the chat, to doing things with the chat. That's probably one of the biggest things that I would try to.
And how would you? What would your suggestion be to Whatnot to make it easier for a person to run a show by themselves?
I would definitely have run next work differently to where it goes through the list, and I could start with item number 1 and go to the next one, whereas that doesn't exactly work correctly now. I think that would be a big help.
And also to be able to pair up to a different device. And when you're running from a different device, i.e. a tablet or a computer, to just make it a little bit easier on the easier side. Okay. I mean, I being not a tech guy myself, I would have no clue.
And that's interesting when you say you could do everything from the phone and it's easier from the phone. I'm a guy that finds it much easier to work from the computer.
Oh, me too.
During the show, I'm primarily using my camera for the visual to actually do the show, and basically all I do on the camera is start the auction. I'm running the auction from the computer. Can I answer that question?
Yeah, absolutely. Please do. Of course you can.
As well.
This will be we're going to let Ken have the closing remarks. So before we let you do that, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Check out Ken on all of the platforms. There will be links down below to all of those. We are going to have a link down to Stop Soldier Suicide, which is our personal, Tracy and I's personal charity that we like to work with. They have no idea that we work with them, but if I can stop one soldier, to do that, I don't care if it's one soldier.
And we're working on an awesome guest for next week. We'll see if that works itself out, but we are trying to get a very awesome guest next week.
Yeah. So we're going to let Ken have the closing remarks, and then we will end the recording at that time.
Well, I appreciate you having me on the show. It's always fun. It's always fun to talk with Brian and talk with Tracy, and I appreciate the opportunity. I talked about that earlier. If you have an opportunity, if somebody asks you to be on a show, to be on a raid train, if you can at all possible do it, go do it. That's how we build a community, and that's how we make friends and relationships. Go to a meetup. Shout out to the Nashville meetup at the end of April. And
hey, don't blow our special guest.
I am not. I don't know who the special guest is.
Yes.
I think I might know, but I'm not going to blow it. But what I will say, man, I don't know. As a closing remark, I'm going to answer my own question earlier of what's one thing that you would change.
Yeah, because our focus is on live selling. So
I'm staring right at you, Whatnot, and I'm talking to you because I know you are watching.
Oh, I know they're watching.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Please stop treating us Android users as second-class citizens. Please. There's fun, neat, useful tools that even some simple tasks that need to be done on Whatnot to run the show and make the show easier. Only available on iOS. Come on now.
Treasures is powered by Apple.
Can you delete me off the screen? Yeah. All right. That's it. I'm done here.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Peace out. Thank you, Ken, for coming on board.